Now, let's head up to Queensland and catch up with One Nation leader Pauline Hanson. There's been plenty happening in federal politics. Good to talk to you again, Pauline. The three Nationals front benches, coalition front benches, three from the National Party, have quit this afternoon because they voted against the hate speech laws, the government's package. Tell us about your thoughts on that and whether you might dangle a line out to those three Nationals and offer them One Nation membership.
No, I won't be offering anything, Chris, but good on them, and I do congratulate them on standing their ground and voting against the laws along with One Nation. We picked it right from the very start, Chris, that these laws were unworkable, weren't unnecessary and should not have been introduced to the Parliament. The laws that they put before the Senate inquiry last week, they weren't the same laws that they brought into the Parliament. They brought in new legislation at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and then they were debated on. We're talking about 500 pages. A lot of the original was carved out. Do you know that 7,000 submissions from the public were presented to the committee by Thursday afternoon last week? That was all thrown into the bin. So this government had no intentions of listening to what the Australian people wanted, and they were not right for Australia. So my concerns is what's going to happen in the future with these laws that we've introduced.
I've got to say, my observation, I made this early on as well, and others have done the same, and that is that, of course, this government's been very lax when it comes to anti-Semitism and standing by Israel, and panicked after Bondi because they are culpable. They haven't done enough to keep the country safe. So they've gone for a legislative response that makes it look like they're doing something, and I think have quite deliberately picked measures which they knew would create strife for the coalition, gun laws and hate speech laws. They knew a lot of coalition MPs would have trouble with this, and instead of just rejecting it outright, the coalition has actually fallen into their trap and become divided about them.
The coalition have been absolutely pathetic in how she's handled this, and she negotiated with the government. They basically made no real changes to the legislation at all, but they've backed these laws which could impact, because the impact it could have further down the track, it's overreach by a minister by having so much powers.
Yeah.
And then what they didn't take into consideration is the hate speech laws of the states will be taken in consideration. So if a minister wanted to rein in a group as hate speech, which he determines, he can then say, no, you've got a member that's joined that, so then you actually are putting that group at risk because they may have one member. That is retrospective, can go back in time and see what they've put up on their social medias or spoken about. So every state has different hate speech laws, which is going to be taken up by the federal government. It's just overreach. And the constitutional expert lawyer in this, Anne Toomey, summed it all up. She said the politicians should have taken a breath with all this, rather than passing these laws. She's concerned about how they could be used against different groups and organisations. Exactly. And she didn't say it, but it's targeting. One Nation could be targeted with this law.
There's no doubt there could be unintended consequences, no doubt about it at all. I want to get you on the polls, Pauline. I haven't caught up with you since you've topped the coalition in the latest news poll. Does this change your aspirations for the party? Do you think that One Nation could in any way, shape or form become a party that, not a party of government perhaps, but a party that could share government?
Oh, most definitely, Chris. Most definitely. And that's what I will be actually striving for with the right people around me to be a team. It's quite interesting now, the number of people who've actually coming forward to want to be candidates, credible people, high-profile people, people who really want to make a difference to the country. We are powering ahead. Our membership is still growing quite a lot. People are interested now. They're pinning the hopes on One Nation to get our country back. So it's about having a voice to actually reign in both major political parties. They have this elitist attitude that no one else should be governing this country but them, and that's why we're in hell of a mess. I'm not going to sit back on my laurels. I want to take it up to them, and I want to say, you get your act together, otherwise we're going to be the true opposition in this country, or government one day for the people to actually support us.
Now, you're going to have to win seats in the lower house, and the way you're polling, you could do it. But you need to, for the good of the country, you need to try and take some seats off Labor off Labor rather than the coalition. Are there regional Labor seats, I'm thinking in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales and in Queensland, where you think you could actually win seats from Labor?
Yes. Yes, it is. I think Blair and Ipswich is winnable. That's a Labor seat as well. But Chris, the election's a couple of years down the track, but the polling in rural and regional areas is around about 32%.
Wow.
So once you get out of the cities, nationally it's 22%, rural and regional areas is higher. With that percentage of the primary vote, you actually are able to win those seats. But it's a long way to go, Chris, and I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch.
Well, keep
and I
in
need
touch.
to get those right people on board.
Sure do. Fascinating times. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. Pauline Hanson there live from Queensland. A new political force, a resurgence for Pauline Hanson yet again. What a career she's had, but at the moment